Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I have a mail day edition. I have some really cool items that came in the mail over the course of the last week, and I want to be able to share those with you all. There is a theme with it, as you'll kind of find out as I go through the mail. But briefly, just some updates, I guess, of things that have been going on recently, as well as something I'm going to be working on this weekend. I was able to get out to a White Sox game this week, and I was able to see them compete against the Los Angeles Dodgers on Monday night. They lost the game 3-0 and got swept in the series, but it was nice to see fans in the actual ballpark. Of note, the White Sox are actually off to the worst start over 81 games of any team in Major League history. So that's been, it continues to be quite the embarrassment on the south side of Chicago. So my eyes have turned towards some other sports, as obviously the Copa America is kind of going on, as well as the Euro Championships in soccer, which are right up my alley. And I did get a chance to watch parts of like the Stanley Cup, just not the final because it occurred on Monday night. But I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to kind of just share with you what I got. But before I do that real quickly, on Sunday, I am going to be doing, at least I hope it's going to be ready for Sunday. I'm going to be able to release a video that day that's going to give a mid-year report. And that's going to be based off the goals I set at the beginning of the year. So it's going to be interesting. As I was putting together my show notes so far, it was nice to be able to do a reflection on where I've been. Because sometimes I always feel like I'm chasing the next one, right? I feel like I'm not getting caught up enough as I kind of see people are completing projects and are getting really cool items. Sometimes I feel like I get this itch to be able to kind of keep trying to move forward and trying to finish my products. It's less about the content, and maybe it is kind of keeping up with the Joneses, but I just noticed that's something I kind of feel for myself, and I'm sure other people do too. So it's nice to be able to spend the time reflecting on where my collection is started and where it's come just over the course of 6 months, and realize, man, got some really cool items. Some items I thought that I would, when I was a much younger man, even as a child, I would never be able to acquire. All right, so enough said. Let's go through some mail. All right, so the first item I was able to pick up is another Derek Jeter card. This is actually the Fleer Focus Masterpiece Mania. So this is not the base card. This is actually a parallel of it that's numbered out of 300. So the image here, you could find a 1 of 1, a card numbered out of 300, or you just got the regular base card. Back when I first acquired this card, this is not the same one I acquired then, but in 2000 I did buy a hobby box of this, and I pulled this specific card. Over time, I actually sold that card, and I was on the hunt to reacquire it. I had reacquired an ungraded copy not too long ago, but then I saw this one come up for auction in a near mint 7, which is really good, I think, for a card from 2000. And as you can see, it's numbered out of 300, so that was kind of a nice little item to pick up at the price I got. I didn't pay a lot for it. And it's nice to be able to get a early career numbered card of Derek Jeter of 300 or less. So I'm happy to be able to pick up that image there. You can still find other cards from that set numbered out of 300 of the stars, and they're not too terribly expensive from 2000 because there was no major rookies, and they're just not as coveted as some of the other sets you find from that era. So the rest of the mail is going to be a theme here. As you can see, I got Stan Musial, a card I picked up last month over here, the Red Man. Well, these are all going to be Stan Musial cards. So I took it upon myself to I had some ungraded cards from his Topps run. And I wanted to be able to kind of see, okay, does it make more sense for me to get these graded, or does it make more sense for me to just acquire one that's graded? And the cards I had, all but one of them probably didn't make a lot of sense to get graded because they weren't in the best shape. So I decided to go on the hunt to be able to kind of acquire some cards that were in mid-grade to replace it. So let's start with 1962. So the first one I replaced is the Musial Plays 21 Seasons. This one's got pretty good centering on here, top to bottom, right to left. It's got some chipping on the corners, as you can expect for a 62 Topps card, so that's why it graded out as a 4.5. But that's okay. These cards are really hard to find in like really nice condition unless you're going to really pay up. And, I was perfectly fine picking up a mid-grade copy of this one. And so that's like the first one I picked up. Next one was the base card from 62. So it's off center, and that's about the only thing wrong with this card, but it's grossly off center, and there's a little bit of registration issues on the surface itself with the image, but you know, looks really nice in a lot of ways, and for the price it came in at, I can't complain. And it was an upgrade over the card I had, like I said, that probably didn't make a lot of sense to have graded. So happy to pick up the 62 here and add that one in. So we got the 62s together. Put the little stand in the corner. And the final one I picked up from at least the Topps run is the 1958 Topps All-Star, which also did not make a lot of sense for the copy I have to get graded. It didn't really look very presentable in comparison to one I was able to purchase here online. So I'm really happy to be able to get this item and get it into my collection. It's his first Topps card, as I think everybody that collects vintage cards is aware of. And part of that really cool All-Star run, which was the first time Topps did All-Star cards like that. So I'm actually going to move the Derek Jeter for a moment. All right, so those are the main items I got, but I did get one super big item, and it was a big one that was on my list at the beginning of the year, kind of reflecting back on that. So I'm going to take these down for a minute, and I'm going to take a moment to highlight this one card individually. I'm going to come back and show just a couple that go with it. So at the beginning of the year, I had a goal of obviously trying to be able to complete the 1948 Bowman set, which I included being able to pick up the Musial rookie, which I later did acquire. But I also had it on the list to complete the Bowman run. And what I needed for that set was the 1949 Stan Musial Bowman card. So here it is. So it's a little hard to see because it is a darker image card. It's a real dark purple background. Even the color of the hat's pretty dark. It's maybe not as bright, obviously, as the 49 Leaf one, which is just a stunning card, which I do not have. But it has a little bit of a crease in here. That's why it came out as a 1.5, but it's very presentable. Works perfectly fine with the cards that I already have of him from the early parts of his playing career. I'm just happy to be able to kind of have it in my collection, as that does, as you'll see here in a minute, complete his Bowman run. There's a lot of, you see my reflection on here, sorry about that. Probably should have taken them out of the plastic first. It would have helped a lot with the glare. So over the course of the last few years, I've been able to complete this. Well, here's the 53. Not sure where to put the 53, but this is the first one I got from the Bowman cards, and here's the other 3 that I've been able to acquire since then. So that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Really happy to be able to share this with you and also share my passion for being able to do these things and just my joy of being able to collect players such as Jeter and Stan Musial, as well as sets, and just hearing from everybody's comments, talking about what they like to collect, and just even commenting on my videos in general and all the support I've gotten up to this point. So have a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully I'll be back with another video on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to be able to put together. Take care.